we have another community spotlight on a project that we have just started recently covering. And I know the community has been asking for this a while on our channel, and we're finally happy to bring you more information. And we thought we'd bring on an expert tonight. We have David King. David, welcome on.
Hey guys, what's up? How are you guys doing? Thank you for having me.
Good. Dude, it's been awesome to get you in here, man. It's been I've been listening to you for a while, and I think all of us have over on Real Talk on Tuesday. So it's stoked to actually get a chance to sit here and talk to you. And then we heard you the Mocossi expert. We got that over from Jack. He was like, you need to talk to David King or Darashi. So I know you have been a fan a little bit of the podcast. You've reached out as well. So we figured this would be a perfect way to get a chance to talk about a project that we don't know too much about, and then, let our audience, get a little bit more information and learn why this project is like coveted by a lot of people inside the community, especially some like OGs. I know a lot of people in there are watching this project.
I just want to say, I still remember too, before we had the Discord stuff, we were still just kind of a couple weeks in or whatever. And I think you retweeted one of our videos or something. And I was like, all right, guys, this is pretty sweet. We're getting some attention out there. That was one of the big ones.
Video, the first one I was like, this is so good. I love every minute of your video. And you guys are just cool, right? I mean, we don't have the opportunity to see a lot of people. So to be able to see you guys, and you're cool, and you're covering so a broad section of the Cardano NFT community is really, really awesome. So I'm happy to be here, happy to talk about Mocossi. It's an honor to be recommended by the man in the basement himself, Jack.
Yep. It's an honor to have you on, though. We're excited to learn more about Mocossi, that's for sure.
Yeah. Just like a preface for everybody over there in the Mocossi community, if you're watching this now too, we definitely have got, we've seen your messages, cover Mocossi, we always, like we were talking before this, we always cover Yummy Universe, which is a project we really love. But has been a lack of Mocossi on the channel, and you guys have been building a lot over there. So it's definitely something that we needed to cover. And I'm glad we finally are getting a chance to sit down and do this.
Yeah, I am too. So, and I like both projects, I really
Oh yeah. Well, that's one thing we always want to talk about, right? You can love more than one project, or you can, even if you really love one more than the other, it doesn't, you can have your favorites. It's not like you have to be dedicated to one community. And that's a part of the reason why we're even doing this, right? Like, we're not, just because we love Yummy doesn't necessarily mean that we have to harp on that all the time. We love to branch out in other projects and what's going on in the space, especially something that's doing very successful too. And it's very similar.
Thank you for saying that, though. I mean, the amount of times you hear stuff just like that project, oh no, fuck those guys. It's my project or nothing. Like, no, they're doing well. Oh, then even worse. Like, that's terrible for everyone. It's just like, well, why can't everyone succeed? And you can enjoy two things at once. It doesn't have to be like versus each other. If you don't like it, still doesn't have to be versus each other. It could just be like they exist and do their thing, and you exist and do your thing. I've never quite understood that. So, but I think we had just kind of been really naive and ignoring Mocossi, really. Like, we saw the mint, we were just so focused into Yummy. We started the show, just kind of got our time taken away from us and never got to fully dedicate like a look into it as it got even more developed. And then I know when Jack was on, we were kind of like, we've been really messing up on this one.
Really dropped the ball.
Mocossi has been a sleeper. It has truly been a sleeper, I think, in the community. And I am quite selective about which projects I get into. And if I don't really mint them, I typically don't go back and get into a project, right? So for me, I did not mint Mocossi. I didn't really know much about the project, but when I learned about the project, I said, yo, this is something that I definitely want to at least have some exposure into. And I dived in the community. I'm in the Discord pretty much every day over at Mocossi. So it's been a joy, being in this project and seeing this team and what they've been able to deliver and their plans. They're definitely very ambitious plans. The team has made it very well known that they want to take this mainstream. So I think it's a great project, and I'm really happy to talk a little bit about Mocossi Planet, what they're building, what they're intending to do. And, like anything, I think we should all do our research. I typically am only in projects that I really enjoy and that I believe in, and I plan to actually do things in the future. So.
Well, I think that's the big important thing now too, especially coming from I don't know the exact date you got into the Cardano NFT ecosystem, but especially people who have been there since the early days. you've seen the wave, right? You've seen the come and go of a lot of different projects in the life cycles of some, and obviously some make it and some don't, and some are here to stay. But I think the important part of it is, as you start to grow as an investor or just a collector, whatever it is that you may be, is that you tend to gravitate towards things that you want to become in, that you enjoy, that you're part of the community, or that you see yourself in long term. So it's important to go back. It's great to take profits and flip and do all that stuff, but eventually you want to get back into the projects that you're a part of and that you're enjoying. So that's why I think these are fun, because you get into these communities where this feels like home. Like, this is the Discord that I am a part of, and I like this community, and I like what these guys are doing. I believe in the project, and this is where I'm at. So that's always an important part, I think, when it comes to this NFT world that we live in right now.
Yeah, for sure. So I could just maybe start with a little bit about how I got into Mocossi, and then some of the things that I really, really like about the project.
Yeah, I was going to get right into that, but I always forget, because you're a host too over on your space too. So we get into that mindset. I love it. Yeah, like that would be actually the first great introduction, like you said. How did you get into Mocossi? What makes you excited about this project? And what's your story?
Yeah, so I've been in Cardano NFTs since nearly the beginning. I would say late April of last year. So for over a year now. My wallet is just a literal history of Cardano, the Cardano NFT market scene. I've probably minted God knows how many projects, spent a ton of ADA. I did not mint Mocossi's, and I did not know about, I didn't know about a lot about Mocossi, but what I was looking to do was I wanted to add a few more gaming NFTs to my portfolio. I wanted a little bit more exposure to some of the gaming. So I was doing a lot of research on NFTs that have some gaming aspects to it. Obviously Equine, we have Yummy, and we have others. So I heard about Mocossi actually in the Dead Pixels Discord. There was a guy that said something about Mocossi, and I'm kind of like, oh, all right, I'm gonna take a look. Take a look into the project. When I go into any project, even with Ape Society, I always hit the Discord first, even before I learn about the project, because I do want to get a feel for the community and the team. How does 100% the team engage with their community? Do they engage with their community? So I learned that Mocossi is aiming to be a play to earn game. I know that that kind of gets a bad rap. It's a very controversial thing, not only in crypto, but also in Cardano, NFTs. But the thing that really immediately drew me to Mocossi was the appeal and the cuteness of the Itos. I mean, I thought that they had some really kind of cool traits to them. Some of them that were kind of funny, some of them were kind of cool. So I really liked the kind of the child nature kind of, and the broad appeal to the project. So that was kind of cool. Also, they were quite affordable too. So I mean, when I first were looking at Mocossi and the Itos, they were around, I would say, a 38 a floor.
Oh, wow.
Dang.
Yeah, they were around a 38 a floor. I did, but I go in and I do a little bit of a mix. So the first night that I came into the Discord, I just went ham sniping. I went sniping in the upper rarity. I went sniping, and Discord was just going crazy. But I read about the project, and one of the things that first impressed me about the project was the actual team.
Yeah.
One of the things I will say about Mocossi that I do like is that from the very beginning, they have stated that their intention is to make a mainstream game. And I like that they had focus and intention from the very beginning, right? It's not like, they say, oh, hey, we're going to create a metaverse because that's cool, or hey, we're going to just do a DAO. They weren't tacking on, kind of what was hot.
Right. Little catchphrases for everybody.
They were not. I mean, they were straight out from the beginning. They said, hey, this is what we're doing. So I did a lot of research. When I say I did a lot of research, like I started from the website. I researched every single member of their team. I was looking at their Twitters. I went to their LinkedIn profiles.
Background checks, everything. Right?
I am going hand. Like, and granted, I'm not really talking to anybody else about Mocossi at this point. Like, it was very kind of a new project. But one of the things that really caught my attention, two things about the community that really caught my attention was, one, the founders of Mocossi, they had been in Cardano, and I didn't know this, since like when it first started, they had been, many of the people had been in Cardano for a long time, like running stake pools back in the early days. I'm talking like 2017, you know, way back then. So I thought that was quite impressive. Another thing that I thought was impressive was they had a large team, and they had already invested in different sections of their team. So for example, they have this community manager called Sap. I mean, he is out there hustling, making things happen. But their game designer, I found out through my own personal research, was that he is actually a game designer for one of the top mobile gaming companies in the world. So when I saw that, I was like, yo, their team actually has experience, one, in Cardano, and they have a game designer that's designed games, some of which have over 100 million downloads worldwide. So
that's amazing.
That's not, I mean, they're very humble.
It's a real deal, for sure.
They're a very humble team. The second thing I will say that I really did like was the actual Mocossi team. They hold a weekly AMA. So every single week since I've been in that Discord, they hold a weekly AMA, and the project head comes out, and then they have the different leads of their different divisions actually come into the AMA. So you have the project lead, and then they would have like the artistic lead, and then they would also have a technical lead to come in and kind of give us a weekly AMA. So I was immediately kind of struck, one, by the appeal, you know, similar to Yummy. Yummy has a broad appeal. And I think if you're going to have a game and what you're going for, I think they had a very clear vision. You know, their appeal kind of matches that vision. And then I really love the fact that they have an AMA every week. And then some weeks they actually did a voice AMA, which I thought was just really, really good.
Really?
It just keeps the community engaged and saying like, hey, we're still here. Any questions you have, we're going to answer them all the time. We're not going to keep you guys in the dark, which I think that's great to see that a community and the team is doing that for them. That's awesome.
Yeah, I really like that, especially if you're doing a game, you know,
right.
They have really big ambitions. So really
it's going to take some time to develop too. So you want that kind of constant stream of communication, you know, from the team of the people you kind of invested with or invested in the game here to see it to be developed. It's tough when a month goes by and you hear nothing at all. You know, they may not have all these updates, but even just getting on and being able to ask where are things at, and they can just saying like this much further, not that much, but you know, nothing huge to announce, or just kind of doing bug testing or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's one thing.
Very clear about their roadmap too. They've been very clear. They've met every single, you know, milestone in their roadmap. And you can go on their website and just see.
That's what I wanted to kind of jump into real quick, because I didn't realize how in depth everything was for the team over here. We were talking about this. I was one question I did have, and I mean, obviously I could have just jumped on the website and looked at it, but I didn't realize when you were saying that you went to their LinkedIn and you were jumping in that, I realized they actually have their LinkedIn on some of these, you know, some of the different team members here, so you can actually look them up. So that's actually really interesting. And like you said, it's important for your team, for you to hear, you know, the leadership behind this project, especially if somebody's taking on something as large and ambitious as what they're trying to actually pull off, right? Like if you have you know, you're trying to pull, whether it's a mobile game or just a game in general, like we know it just from seeing it in gaming throughout our lives. You know, AAA games take years and years to come out. So, you know, even if they're doing something on a way smaller scale, it still takes a lot of resources to do that. So you want to know the people behind this project are capable to take something like that off. So seeing all this and then being transparent about that, and then you know, hearing somebody is different than seeing a post online about stuff. So that I didn't realize that, and it's nice to see. I didn't realize over here, August of 2021, they all formed together. So they're coming up, you know, here within what about 9-10 months here soon all together. So that's awesome that they're coming into this phase and that they've been transparent about that. I did not know that.
Yeah, one thing to also point out is this is the main team that you see here, but they also have expanded their team now to over 20 people.
Oh, wow.
Actually have a contract with an actual game studio.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you hop into AMAs. I mean, they legit are very transparent about and we ask them hard questions like, what's your plan? Darashi is just grilling these folks every week.
Yeah.
What's your plan for tokenomics? Can you tell us about the team? What's this gaming studio, et cetera, et cetera. So I like the fact that they're very, very, very focused on their project and what they say they're going to deliver.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to see that, you even got testimonials. Like it feels like a business almost, right? When you're like reviewing certain things like that, they're taking it serious like that. That, you don't see this too often over on, these different websites that we're looking at, and then, like you said, the roadmap, that was something I think Jack had mentioned to us too, is that the roadmap, they've hit every single milestone that they put out, and they haven't missed anything yet. So I'm curious to see, like, so where are we currently at with this?
This Q1 here, this has been a big quarter right here, where it says Q1 in progress for 2022. And maybe this will help give people some understanding. So the concept that the game actually has multiple phases. And this is another thing that I really love about Mocossi, is that you're not just waiting for one final product, right? They have 3 distinct stages leading up to their final product, which is a Mocossi Planet game. So in Q1 here, one of the big things is they released their first quote unquote game, which was their breeding function. So you see here on Q1, and what you were able to do was, through a multi-sig transactional Cardano, you're able to take 2 of your Itos, Gen 1 Itos, which are denoted by the yellow color here. If you kind of scroll up a little bit there. Right. These are all your Gen 1 Itos. And you got some of the Legendaries up there at the top. And you can take any 2 of those Itos, any of them, and breed them together, and you'll produce a generation 2 Ito, which is denoted by a more of a purple skin tone. So yeah, these would be Gen 1.
And then eventually, like I said in this video, I want to pop that out while we were talking, because I saw this earlier. So the 2 Itos come together to breed the Ito. I want to keep calling it ITO, but I had to address that at some point. But yeah, so the Itos, this is the version 2s that you see, and that was always a question I had, because I know that's what Jack was also saying to us as well when we were talking about it. Just like you said, they have different phases of what they have. They have the play to earn portion game. They have the breeding part of the game, where you have to basically keep these things like alive. Inside, I don't know if it reminds me kind of like a Tamagotchi or something along those lines from back in the day. But it's definitely interesting. And so what's the difference between the 2 of these things, where you have obviously the Ito 1s and versus the Ito 2s? I mean, their generation, the first editions, but what's the point of having the second ones?
Yeah, so like we said, the game, you could kind of think of Mocossi, they're kind of going for more of an Axie Infinity type mainstream game on Cardano. And obviously, for as many people to play the game, we need a ton of assets and a ton of Itos, right, for people to actually be able to play and engage in the actual game. So the first game was the breeding game. We're currently at over 20,000 Gen 2 Itos bred. That means, I mean, 20,000, that's a lot. I mean, people are really going crazy. And the only way you can get one of those Gen 2 is by breeding them. And they actually, some of them have new characteristics and traits that you can't find on Gen 1. But all of that is leading up to the first game, which is going to be the pet game. So you're actually going to be able to take care of your Gen 1 Itos and Ito 2s in the official pet game. So you'll have to keep them happy, right? You have to feed them. You'll have to ensure that they're taken care of. They just released today in the Discord a screen of what one of the in-game scenes will look like for when you're taking care of your Itos. But the ultimate game actually is for the Mocossi Planet. And that is where you will actually have a full-fledged game. You can think of this like as a mobile game. I don't know if you guys have ever played like Boom Boom Beach or some of those games where you have the different resources and you can raid different lands and you have to gather resources. I think it's going to be similar to that.
Okay.
That will be the actual, if you can see there in phase 3, you'll have the actual Mocossi Planet game. And what you're seeing now is the Itos are in 2D form, right? In the form of your, I guess, your NFT. But when you connect to the game, all of the Itos will be 3D and the lands will also all be in 3D. And so they've actually shown us some of the, so this is one of the initial scenes for the phase 2 game.
Okay.
Going to be the pet game. And so
Wow, that's not what I was expecting. I don't know why I was expecting it to still look like Tamagotchi.
Right.
Like a flat, like 2D screen just moves back and forth and poops or whatever. This is much more advanced than I was ready for. Yeah.
Yeah. It reminds
great.
me of I forget the natural
Animal Crossing is what it reminds me of.
Yeah, I could see that.
Stardew Valley, that kind of thing.
Oh, man, I'm gonna have to go back and take a look at these too, because obviously this is very like commercially like branding. It looks very well done. It looks very like something that could be mainstream. And then outside of that, I know the lands and stuff we were just about, we were talking about that as well, because I think the artwork for that is very well done. So I know that is all going to be in 3D as well, right?
Exactly. I mean, again, they are running this project like a legit professional gaming studio, and they have a plan for everything. So if you actually go to the website, I want to hit that real quick. And I think, so you don't have to actually have land to play the game. If you have land, you'll actually earn more in the actual game. So if you scroll up here and you hit land, this is another thing that I really do enjoy about the project. If you scroll down just a little bit.
I haven't seen this yet.
Yeah, this is the map. So you see there's different regions and sections to the land. Now, each of the sections actually have a theme to them. So there's 10 themes to the land, and each of the themes are patterned after the 10 legendary ethos. So those red dots right there you see, that is the legendary ethos plot of land.
Damn.
Wow.
Bro, it's sick. It's so
sick.
I did not know that. Okay.
It's like right on the map. I'm right there. That red dot, that's me.
Bro, and one of the legendary lands is already sold for 30,000 acres.
Wow. I saw that already. That's what I was noticing this week. Oh man.
So the cool thing is the community, they actually allow the community to name the lands. So they, on Twitter, they say, hey, Twitter, they ran a huge promotion for every single land. And so the community, we had votes in the Discord for how the different lands will be named. And every legendary Edo has a region of Mocossi Planet associated with it. And so you can see the different here. And in the center, that's the World Center, and they haven't revealed yet what's going to happen in the World Center. But if you scroll down, this is one thing I do want to highlight because it's very, very important. Each of the lands, which you can see here in Chanto, and they'll tell you which legendary Edo it has. Like this is Kiki Nico. This is their legendary land.
Okay.
Each of the lands, and this is one of the things I really do love about Mocossi, is as opposed to a generic metaverse plot where you're just getting a plot that you're getting a promise of maybe, having some 3D model run around on there and can chat. That is not the case with Mocossi. These lands actually have intentional function and utility to their ecosystem. And that's one of the things I really like about any gaming project that I'm looking for in any blockchain or NFT is, do they have a sustainable ecosystem? And so every single land actually comes with 7 different assets, right? They have a home. So when we're playing the pet game, you're gonna have to go into the home and take care of your Ito.
Okay.
They have a playground, they have cattle, they have woods, they have gardens, a fish pond, stone mine. So you can click on one of the other ones real quick.
I wanted to, well, just real before I get off the screen, since this image is burned on my mind, I just wanted to showcase where that same exact land was. Is also, this is the 3D render of it too.
So this is their 3D block render.
Okay.
This is not with any texture yet.
Right.
With their final renderings, if you go into the Discord, you can see they did some that are like really well done.
Yeah.
It's really, really good.
You can see just in this, the water and stuff is still like
it's all, I was just running that because this is the exact same image as this right there. So just curious to see that back and forth on a 3D, and obviously not done yet, but that was interesting to see that they've already gone there.
Show me that Shock City, Tommy.
You want to see Shock City?
Shock City, this is the one I wanted. I wanted this one so bad.
Oh man,
this was
Meowner.
That one is dope. I like that one.
Yeah, Shock City is great. So I imagine in the future, if you're a land owner, you're going to actually be able to produce more resources that you can sell and trade and do things in game. So you don't actually have to have land to play the game.
Right.
If you have a landowner, you're going to kind of be like an OG, right? You're going to have more potential to make earnings in the game that you can then trade for ADA and eventually for a fiat currency if you want.
Well, it wouldn't remind me, I don't know how far along that is, or if they've already announced something along that line, is to say you don't own any of the land, you want to play the game, it's mass popular at that point, you purchase an Edo 2 or something to get in, and you need certain resources to upgrade your character, feed it, do something along those lines. Well, you may have to go to some sort of maybe a marketplace or something like that in order to purchase those things. But if you are a landowner that has those certain resources, you're able to harvest them without having to go pay an in-game currency possibly to be able to do that. Would be like my initial thought when you said that. I don't know if they've announced that.
Exactly. You can also put up to 4 ETOs on your land. Another thing that they are planning to do, that they already have been building mechanics for, is you will be able to lease out your ETOs and your land. So they're going to have a scholarship program very similar to what you see in Axie Infinity. They're gunning for mainstream. So
that's cool.
They're giving the original holders, right, who have a lot of ETOs and don't plan on being as, vested in the game, be able to have, through their scholarship program, be able to lease out your land and your ETOs to others who want to play the game, and they can have a portion of your earnings for playing the game.
I think that caters well to both sides of that, because there are a lot of people who sometimes are like, I just want to invest in this. I don't want to actively be involved. I don't have the time to keep up, but this is the perfect way to go ahead and do that and give that to both sides of that. But versus the people who are like, no, I'm playing this game like every day and involved with it. I really do enjoy that. And like you said, it rewards the people who are in now. And maybe that's why, like you said, a lot of people are stacking these things up because they can see that vision. I've know of Axie Infinity, and, I've seen basic stuff on that. I don't know too much of the inner workings, but I know that's a big name to live up to.
It is.
So man, it's cool to see like the first iteration of a project who's gunning for something like this, who has good artwork, who has a good plan and good team built behind them on, where they're, just getting started out and seeing where they're going and being a part of that right now. That's exciting.
Damn it, Tommy. How we sleep on this for so long?
I don't know, man. We messed up on this. I can tell you that. Well, just to be honest with you, I know we're on the land portion right here. If we go back to, I guess, the home section where we were talking about the legendary Eidos over here. Is this, I don't know if they have any of these up top here that we were looking at. Are these some of the legendaries up here?
Yeah, those are the legendaries.
Okay, so when we first saw these, and I think this is we mentioned this in our initial reaction, they had like a couple that were like tributes, and some of them paying tribute to Yummy Universe back then. And the most notable one I remember was the fire one, like the fire elemental that was like the one that Stale owns. On the Yummy side. And so we were like, at that time, like I think Tom had mentioned this previously, we had come through a period of a lot of people like grabbing onto artwork and things from other projects that may not necessarily been their own creativity or inspired. Like, it's good. One thing to pay homage. It's another thing to kind of, we were like, not sure if we were like watching somebody pay homage to them or if they were like, I don't know, you guys are pretty much copying what this.
You're way too suspicious, especially with it being connected to Yummy. We're just like,
and it was like a similar kind of game at the time. I mean, again, we didn't know anything outside of that, but it's great to see. And I think Jack even mentioned that they went back and redid some of these, to redo this stuff. And then it's cool how they have tied these legendaries now to these lands with those different plots. Because that was our initial, like, I think we were like, you know what, we're gonna sit this one out. And now to see where they've come, it's like, don't always judge a book by its cover kind of thing.
It's cool to see how they've diverged so much too, like Yummy and it. Like, we were like, oh, they're both making games, they're both cute little things, but I mean, both projects are going into such big but separate directions where they can both be so successful and not have any competition with each other, which is really cool to see.
Exactly. And one other thing I'll say, because I know we're getting close to the end of the segment, is I try to give every project a fair shot, right? And I wasn't around during the whole Yummy Mocossi thing. I heard about that a lot. So I guess I didn't have that barrier when I researched the project, because I had already, I guess, passed and I was just coming in with a clean slate. One other thing I do like about the Mocossi team is, one, they are professional. Two, they do have game building experience on their team. They have developers. And one of the things I really do enjoy about Mocossi, and I put a tweet out about that, is they understand marketing, right? And if any game is going to be successful, you got to have good marketing. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you went to any of the Cardano tools sites leading up to their lands, they had banners there. They were marketing. They were doing partnerships with different projects. If you go to Pavia right now, you're just going to completely see a ton of Mocossi you know, of the estate plots. They work with the community to use the community to help with their marketing.
Yeah.
But another thing that I liked about that I asked a lot about in the AMA, I said, hey, you're going for mainstream. You're going to have to reach outside of the Cardano community to really go mainstream.
Right.
One of the things I really do enjoy is they do have crossover with the Axie Infinity community. So yeah, there are some of the assets right there that they were looking at as far as rendering and shading for some of the lands. But, you know, I mean, they already have a large cross section of play to earn players in crypto with, you know, Axie Infinity. I mean, all it takes is a couple of YouTube ads to those who are covering Axie Infinity. You already have, you know, a base of players that you can easily tap into. So I do like the fact that they are unique. They do share some similarities with Axie, but they do have that community, right, that they can market to, that they can tap into. So we could see something where, and this is just me speculating, we could see something where, you know, Mocossi could bring in a new section or subsection of users into Cardano because they have the ability to reach to that Axie Infinity crowd. And they, quite frankly, have the budget and the capability to do really nice marketing to bring people in, much like Ape Society did, I think, with Solana and some other blockchains, where they kind of brought some people into the Cardano community. And that's something as well that I really look for in projects, right? Do they have the ability to bring in people beyond our little ecosystem?
Well, that's the big benefit, right? It's like, it's great. You know, we're all in Cardano. We know, like, we're early over here, and we believe in this blockchain and the projects that are on it. But in order, we need other people. We can't just be living in our little bubble and expecting everybody just to find their way over here naturally, right? You got to reach out. You got to get some people in here. So what better way to have a good project with great artwork, a good team behind them, and then go spread the word and let those people bring them, introduce them, because they have way bigger ties, like you said, to some of these other projects that have done the same. You know, we all know ETH has a bunch of money that's out there waiting to be spent. And then, you know, some people are getting frustrated with some of the fees and other things out there. And what better way to invest on a project that's really just getting started out there, you know? And some of these Axie Infinity, those took almost 4 years for them to get really mainstream the way they did last year. So, you know, we're in year one right now of this stuff, which is crazy. It's crazy to think.
Yeah. That is a big benchmark, though, for a project. Is this good enough to bring other people in from other communities? Like, will people buy Cardano to jump in this? And with what they're showing, with their actual realistic like ability to get something like this out, it's the biggest thing. Like you said, their team, just looking at their team and seeing how large it is one thing that's encouraging. You know, the amount of people that they have, the right people for the right jobs. They're not trying to do everything themselves. I know it's one to bring up recently was the Gizmos, where it was like 2 people and they just didn't have the money or manpower or ability to get it all done just with the 2 of them. That's understandable, but they kind of then overpromised to their community and it didn't work out when everyone bought in because they had good looking art. And this is one where you see it, and you see so many people that have said they're going to come out with a game. It's always kind of like, what is the realistic, you know, is that going to actually happen someday? And with this is why we've gotten so excited about it, because we're like, this definitely has one of the bigger shots, like a real shot in the space. I like that. That's what got me excited for sure when we started seeing it with Jack.
Yeah, I like how you said they have a shot, because, you know, nothing's guaranteed, right? Like, nothing in this is guaranteed. I mean, but there's another thing here. This encyclopedia is also fully functional. So you can click on any Gen 1
like
you can see their partners, all the partners they made it with. You can see all of their children, right? You can see how many times they've been bred. And the more you breed, the higher level you start within the game.
Okay.
There is some incentive, right, to breed your ETOs. And the last thing I'll say about this is ETOs are just one species on the Mocossi Planet. They are actually planning to, through another mechanism in the game, to have another species to come forward in the game, which will keep it new, which will keep it interesting, which will keep it fresh. Because if we are looking to go mainstream, right, even 30,000
is nothing.
That's not going to be enough. You know, that's not going to be enough. So they already have plans in place to address, you know, being able to meet that sort of demand, you know, as the game begins to get more and more users. I have confidence that this game could do well, just because I think they do very good with marketing. Everything is congruent. They never break form, right? All of their marketing materials are spot on.
Yeah.
Their tokenomics was excellent, actually. I spent me and Dirashi, we did a very deep dive into their tokenomics, and they're just really running this like a professional project, even down to adding, you know, their token to DEXs and just understanding price action and all those things. And they even have a section about inflation, how they're going to deal with that, because they saw that as an issue. Yep. So they have really, really put a lot of time, intention, and investment into ensuring that, I like to call it, this ecosystem, right, will be sustainable in the future. And I think that's what we're looking for I'm looking for that for any gaming project on Cardano. You know, Clay Nation, is it going to be sustainable? Hobby, Equine, Yummy, right? These are ecosystems, right, that have to be sustainable. Dead Pixels, all of them have to, the challenge of not only delivering a product, but delivering a sustainable ecosystem. I really like that Mocossi has put a lot of time, attention, and thought into that.
Well, the fact of looking into that stuff shows that that's a team of experience too. They've either gone through those problems in the past and now know how to, like, all right, we need to look out for this stuff. Trust me, we didn't know about it before, some other project or something else I was involved in, and it could destroy you. So these are things we need to keep an eye on and plan for in the future, as opposed to trying to tackle them when you just come across them because you're naive and new and to the space, or it's first time, kind of it's your first rodeo. So it can really hurt you when you come across some of those problems. It's good to hear that the team is kind of prepared and working towards, you know, getting ahead of problems before you even have them.
Yeah, and I think the last thing too is that, yeah, at the end of the day, like you said, an ecosystem is one thing. You can build an ecosystem, you can release a token, you guys can get all these people involved, but what's going to keep you coming back? Like, what's the reason that you're interested in this thing, and what's the draw to it? At the end of the day, you're making a game, and is that game going to be fun? Is that game going to be engaging? Is there going to be a reason for me or people to want to play it? Because at the end of the day, that's what, you know, is going to make the project successful.
Well, so, like, fun aside, like we talk about all the time, like how we don't have time to really game anymore. I like the leasing aspect of it. Like, I can lease my land or whatever just so I can still get the gains of someone playing what I have, and they also get to enjoy the game since I really don't have time or want to play the game, whatever the case may be. It's just, I like that also dynamic too, which is a great feature that they're going to have and are going to have for the game.
Yeah, and I like the fact that they call this are they called Mocomon? Is that how they're pronounced in the Moconomics?
Yeah, Mocomon are just any species on Mocossi Planet. So Itos are a Mocomon, but there's other species that's on that planet.
I like that name. I like running with the little monsters. I love that theme over there. Well, David, I know we could probably jump into this probably for another hour with you to get going. So we appreciate you just giving us like that starter introduction, and then kind of seeing like your passion and reason that you guys are excited for the project. So that's one of these reasons.
Cool. I was trying to snipe while you were just talking. I was just looking
at some too. I was looking at the lands all day,
snipe.
We've been doing a couple of flips lately, so I'm like, I got a little extra. I've been watching the lands since they minted. But I have so much trouble with that, because you look at some of the floor ones and it's like, I can grab one of these floor ones. Then I started finding some of like the little extra traits that I really like. And then I'm like all of a sudden spending like, 1,200 data.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a limited amount of land. So even floor ones or whatever is going to be fine, right? Like, not everyone is going to have land. So what seems like a floor now could be very valuable in the future. So
easily. It's just easy to get. Like it's not as simple as a square plot and then where is it on like a map. There's so much more that goes into them now that I actually have to kind of like, it's not just like, I don't care, I just wanted to get one on the floor, like maybe like a Pavi or something. There's a billion of them, doesn't matter, I didn't get the best map spot, but I just want, at least I have one. This is like, yeah, this one I could get a floor one and be in there, but then it's like, yeah, but this roller coaster.
Yeah. It's definitely, it could be a deep dive into this stuff, and we're learning on there. It's just, I haven't made the official entry in it, and I know these guys haven't officially yet, because there is so much to consider, like Tom was just saying. So well, David, we appreciate you jumping in tonight, man. It's been an honor.
You gotta come back for the full thing for sure.
Oh yeah.
It's been important to know too, man. I was always a fan of yours and what you guys were doing prior to us ever really jumping on there. I think your profile pic has always been very recognizable in the space. The Adadol that you've had out there. So it's been an honor to host you on, man. And thank you for jumping on tonight.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me, and best of luck with entering the project. If you need any help, let me know.